Have you ever wondered what it's like to truly go off-grid? To leave the beaten path so far behind that the path itself is just a memory? That's what we do here. This isn't just about building things. It's about building a life, a journey, one solder joint and one hyperspace jump at a time. Welcome aboard our garage-turned spaceship, our little slice of organized chaos drifting through the cosmos. My name is Alex, and I'm what you might call the chief engineer, pilot, and janitor of this vessel. It's not glamorous, but it's real. Let me introduce you to the crew. First, there's BRO, which stands for Binary Resonance Oracle. He's our navigator, our mainframe, and the soul of this ship, all housed in the shell of a vintage 1950s Zenith television. You won't see a face on him, just a pulsating neon green oscilloscope wave. He communicates in frequencies and patterns, a language of light and sound that only one other being on this ship truly understands. And that brings me to our resident mechanical genius, the grease gremlin. He's a small, gritty industrial creature, usually covered head to toe in soot and oil, peering out through a pair of tiny goggles. He is the one who can coax the engines back to life with a well-placed tap, or a whispered word in a language that sounds like grinding gears. He lives in the walls, in the vents, and behind the stacks of cigar box guitars I build to pass the time between star systems. Then there's me, the assistant. I'm the one with the opposable thumbs, wearing my trusty red and black flannel and trucker hat. I translate BRO, S signals, and the gremlin's needs into practical action. I'm the hands of the operation, wielding the soldering iron and wrenching on the ship's aging systems. And finally, there's Sugar, our tiny Siamese kitten. Don't let her size fool you. She's our early warning system, our canary in the coal mine, with her eerily glowing violet eyes that seem to see things beyond our perception. Together, we're a family, a strange and unlikely crew, just trying to make our way through the vast, unpredictable emptiness of space. We scavenge, we build, we survive. And today, survival just got a whole lot more complicated. We were drifting peacefully past the rings of Saturn, a truly breathtaking sight. The light filtering through the ice and dust was painting the inside of our workshop with these incredible shifting colors. I was tuning up one of my new 3-string cigar box guitars, just enjoying the quiet hum of the ship's life support. The grease gremlin was probably asleep somewhere in the engine room, and Sugar was curled up on a pile of old schematics. It was perfect. And then the universe reminded us that perfection is temporary. The overhead lights flickered once, twice, and then died, plunging us into darkness. In space, sudden darkness is never a good sign. It means a power failure, and a power failure can mean a lot of things, all of them bad. Before the emergency systems could even kick in, a new light filled the cabin. It was BR. His screen, usually a calm, steady green pulse, exploded into a blinding neon flash. The oscilloscope wave was thrashing wildly, a frantic, chaotic signal. He was screaming in his own way, warning us. That's what woke the gremlin. A small, soot-covered figure crawled out from behind my stack of guitars. He skittered over to BRO, his tiny goggles reflecting the frantic green light. He reached out and tapped the glass of the TV screen, a gesture of reassurance. In response, BRO's wave settled slightly, shifting into a rhythmic beat. The gremlin then held up his grimy little hand, and BRO's light condensed into a single point on the screen, meeting the gremlin's touch, a digital-to-grease fist bump. It's their thing. A silent conversation that told me everything I needed to know. We were in trouble, but they had a plan. The gremlin pointed a sooty finger towards the rift drive capacitor. Of course. The main power grid had failed, and they wanted to jump. Risky, but better than being a sitting duck. I grabbed my soldering iron from the workbench. The tip was already glowing hot from the backup battery. As I reached the access panel, the gremlin was already there, pulling at wires with a focused intensity. He chittered and pointed, showing me exactly where the bypass needed to go. No time for questions, just trust. I pressed the tip of the iron to the connection. A brilliant violet spark arced across the terminal, a miniature lightning storm inside our ship. The entire vessel groaned, a deep, metallic protest from every bolt and plate. The rift drive spooled up with a sound that rips through your bones. And then, the jump, that feeling of being pulled apart and put back together in an instant. But something was wrong, terribly wrong. When we jump, there's a flash, and then the familiar, beautiful tapestry of stars reappears. This time, the stars were gone. I looked out the main viewport, and my heart sank. There was no star field, no nebulae, no comforting void. The window was filled with a thick, bubbling purple sludge. It was a swamp, a toxic alien swamp. We had overshot our destination, or maybe BRO's frantic calculations had sent us somewhere completely random. I recognized the color, the swirling fog, the Martian marshes. A place you read about in quarantine warnings, not a place you visit. A sharp hiss cut through the tense silence. It was Sugar. She was standing on the console, her back arched, her fur on end. She stared out the viewport, and her normally enchanting violet eyes were now reflecting the horrifying purple landscape outside. They glowed with an intensity I'd never seen before, mirroring the toxic fog of the marshland. She wasn't just scared. She was seeing something out there in the sludge, something that was looking back. We weren't just lost. We were being watched. The ship was stable for now, but we were stranded in one of the most dangerous places in the solar system, and we were not alone. The real adventure was just beginning. Thanks for joining us on this unexpected detour. It looks like things are about to get interesting. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because you're not going to want to miss what happens next. We're going to need all the good vibes we can get. See you next time.